Welcome to the special E3 episode spectacular of Radio Toons.
2018.
I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
And we went to E3. We actually got to go to E3 this year. Mm-hmm. We're not just sitting on the couch talking about it like a couple of suckers, like a couple of nobodies. No offense to anyone who didn't go.
Well, I mean, we've been able to go in the past, but it's always been like a half day or like 2 hours or whatever, and it's like hardly seemed worth it. Today was like all day. We even got in a little early. It was great.
I went one other time, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe two other times. But like you said, it was like we got like a wristband or like there was some badge swapping going on.
Yeah.
And we got in for maybe like 20, 30 minutes and we got to see what we wanted to see and get out. Mm-hmm. This time around, our friend at Bloody Gaming got us like real legit passes.
Yeah.
And he was just like, just fucking chill, dude. Like, you guys, we both took a day off of work, like, way in advance, and we're like, let's just fucking the whole day.
Yeah.
Let's just do E3 correctly. And man, was it like...
It was a lot of fun.
It was the fucking greatest, dude. I mean, for me, I like video games. I don't know about you guys, but I like video games.
We all love video games, Steve. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, especially considering like... So... If anybody doesn't know, the press conference was on Sunday was for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Monday was PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then this morning,
yeah,
because we're recording this on a Tuesday night, this morning was Nintendo.
Yeah.
So either like you were watching Nintendo Direct or you were lined up to go to the Nintendo booth.
Yeah, we went on Tuesday, by the way.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't clear. And we actually went in before, like, because we were press or whatever, we got to go in before, like, the general public that bought tickets.
Right.
So right away we were just like, we gotta go play Smash. Like,
right.
We gotta go get Smash stuff, right?
Right.
So we went.
Right when the doors opened, actually. Right at 11 o'clock.
Yeah. We got in there. We stood in line. There was like a few people there. Mm-hmm. We played Smash Brothers in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was amazing. Right? It was amazing because, like, when we first got there, first of all, the place was bananas. Mm-hmm. And people were like, well, I got to go to this exit. Because there was like 4 different places where you could go line up. Uh-huh. And then some of the signs said... for ticketed Smash Brothers something, and there was a lot of confusing. And then we got to the place. They were like, "What is this?" And they're like, "This is if you didn't sign up for the competitive event."
Which we didn't. It was just
casual fun play,
casual matches. And
so we lined up and we're like, "Oh, this looks like it goes around the block." And then all of a sudden we saw, wait, that's the end of the line right there, and it was like 20 minutes.
It was like 20 minutes, and then this morning is when Nintendo made this huge announcement. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say everything else in their direct was, can be omitted from the record, and it was basically just Smash,
Right? No, yeah.
So we're watching the video in line.
Right.
We were like looking at everything, and we're like, oh shit! Like the theme of Smash Brothers this time around is everyone is singing. Yeah. So everything in past Smash Brothers games is here. And it looks like it's all gullied up, whatever the fuck you want to say. It's all nice looking.
Yeah, it's all gussied up. Everything's kind of like redone. It looks like all the characters look like they feel soft.
Oh, yeah.
Because in past Smash Brothers, either they've gone really dark or tried to go like semi-realistic, and in this one, everybody's been given like this inner glow. It almost looks like they have like a little bit of not shine, but I don't know how to say it. They look like a plushie almost.
Yeah, everything's been like it's weird how it's not just a port. It is a port, right? But it's like they've done such a rehaul on like everything that it really isn't the same. I actually
would not call it a port. I think it's a full-fledged game. I think they're using the same engine. But everything else has been redone. Like for example, They went. First of all, they announced that everybody's there. So, like, everybody from Snake.
So just think in your mind, like, oh, I used to play this character in this game. Well, they're in this game.
Yeah.
They're in this game.
Like anybody from like Snake from a Melee, all the way to Cloud.
What did you say? Snake in a Melee?
Yeah,
he's a Brawl, dude.
I'm sorry, Snake in Brawl. All the way to Cloud in.
Which was my concern when I heard that they were doing it in Smash Brothers. I was like, okay, if it's part 5, Mega Man might not be in it, and I would be so sad. right? But if it's I would also be happy because new characters, all that shit. And then I was like, oh, okay, but if it's just a straight up port, then I still get Mega Man, so it's a win-win.
Right.
And they just took both my expectations
and they
just
smashed them together.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, this is incredible. But what I was gonna say is, so we were in line. And we were watching this thing, and we got the gist of it. Like, oh, okay, everyone's in it. Well, who gives a fuck? Whatever.
Right.
And we're going to play Smash. We get to the end of the line, and we get up there.
Right.
And we look at the roster, right? Mm-hmm. The guy who, like, managed the line was telling us, like, hey, I don't know if everyone's in there. Because, like, he's like, I know Snake's in there, but he might not be playable because this is just a demo and all that shit. Right. We get up there, it's like the full fucking version of the game.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah,
almost.
I'm standing there with the cursor on Ridley, and I'm like, I didn't know like, am I playing Project M or some shit? Like, I didn't know this was in here.
That was insane.
And so I was like, I gotta play Ridley, dude. Like, what the hell? And
we played one of the new stages, which is the
Great Plateau.
The Great Plateau's tower.
Stage looks awesome.
It's super insane. And we were playing it. I was playing Snake because, I was like, I haven't played Snake in years at this point. He feels, if not better, just the same. He feels like as powerful as he did back then.
And let me go back to what we were saying real fast too. The reason I say it's a rehaul and not a port, because of the technicalities too. So like the mechanics have been reworked. Mm-hmm. So you have directional dodges now. Yeah. Just like in Melee, you can actually wave dash apparently, although it's not as good as it was in Melee. So you can't spam it or it's not broken or something. Also, if you dodge back and forth more than 6 times, it increasingly gets more lag or something like that.
Well, your frame of dodging gets smaller and smaller.
I think it was like your recovery frames are more when it's the 6th dodge, or that's what they were trying to portray.
Yeah, they were trying to say like it's less effective as a dodge. Yeah, so you can't just dodge and dodge and dodge and dodge. You know what I mean? Like. So they got really technical because they ran through every single fighter and were like, "This is the change to this person. This is the change to this person." Yeah, and then they oversaw the whole thing and said like, "This is something that you do, and this is something you can do."
They have like ladder, something about ladder.
Yeah, ladder. Like they can actually strike down or like, strike up.
Like smaller things that were actually really cool in my opinion, though, were like Ryu when it's 1-on-1, he always faces his opponent. Mm-hmm. So. It's like people were having troubles doing the Hadouken Tatsu motions. Mm-hmm. Now he's always facing, like in Street Fighter. He's always So it's like, oh, that's fucking cool, dude. Like
it makes a lot of sense. Plus, what was great was they could have just been like, well, Link is Link, whatever. But they added in the Breath of the Wild Link. Yeah. So now he's been completely redone too.
So now Skyward Sword Link is truly forgotten. There's no way he's coming back.
Also, Mario has Cappy. And he has a bunch of his other costumes. Like, they took the time to add all these things, and it slightly changes how the game is played.
Right. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on your point, but my point was more a thing of, like, it's not just about the looks. People would think like, oh, you add more skins, it's still a port. Mm-hmm. They rethought the mechanics or retooling it for like a crowd that does like Melee and might want to get into it now. You know what I'm saying? Because
no, but I understand because okay, so here's another thing they changed that's as much as it is aesthetics, which is kind of the look of it, and functionality. They changed all the final smashes so that not only do they look better. They happen faster. Yeah. And they're more like...
They're less random because they do like a one hit into a cutscene. Right. As opposed to like where Sonic flies around.
Either they do that or they just like destroy the entire like area and then they're done. I mean... But they happen fast.
The thing about that is like... People don't use Final Smashes in tournaments anyway. Mm-hmm. But I think what they're trying to do is like, oh, maybe if we make them more streamlined and less random... people will use them,
Right, so it's just like a super in Street Fighter, in a Street Fighter. Yeah. It's cool when they're like this big, magnificent thing, but after a while you're just like, all right, when is this finished?
Yeah, you get tired of seeing that shit.
Right, so like even in when they were doing like Street Fighter 4, they tried to make them short. Yeah. So that you don't, get tired after the second or third time. Right. Because it sucks having to wait for it to finish and then come back.
Right.
And they even changed, like, some that are basically stayed the same, like Mega Man's...
they added to it, yeah.
They added slight things that I think... They added Proto Man and Bass to it. Yeah. So they took so much care to just add these little things.
I think this time around it was like, we don't have to worry about 3DS. Let's just push the hardware to its maximum. You have Ice Climbers back. That's great. Yep. I don't even play Ice Climbers, but I'm happy for people that do. You know, they added a shitload more assist trophies. But the other thing I was gonna say, and the reason I think they have tournament mentalities going into this game, is because I said this on a previous podcast. I have this on record. I feel like they just fucking read my mind. Before I was complaining about how, okay, they have Omega stages for every stage, and I was telling people, like, Nintendo doesn't understand that Final Destination isn't good for a lot of characters. Like, right. Mega Man dominates on Final Destination, but characters like Ganondorf or Captain Falcon, they need platforms to be able to move around and shit. Like, you can't just do that to them. They have Battlefield variations for every stage now, as well as Final Destinations.
They have, I think they called it Alpha and Omega stages.
Oh,
right?
really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like, it's basically Battlefield with 3 platforms. So it's the fighting polygon team stage for every stage.
Yeah.
Or just a flat land for every stage.
So I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, they must have gotten tons of feedback and just taken all this into account, because this is like almost like a Smash dream game.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, I'm just like, it almost feels like they want this to be the finito, the last one.
Well, not only just the last one, because first of all, they've already teased that this is a lot of characters. You have everything. So, and he even said, by the way, the creator, what's his name?
Masahiro Sakurai.
We'll get to him in a second, but like he said, we're gonna have hopefully this suffices so that we won't have a lot of new characters. So there are new characters coming, so probably in DLC or whatever. But it means that yes, this is the brunt of it. This is the biggest part of it. And they're still working on it. And the release date is in December.
I feel like, honestly, this is his magnum opus. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Like your life's work. Like when
Is his swan song?
I believe like the term comes from like when a locksmith creates like his final lock. That's what his magnum opus is.
Really?
It's like this intricate, like, beautiful lock. Whatever. Anyway, we're getting into tangents here. Yeah. But I feel like this is his final work. Maybe not. Who knows?
He looked like the game took a couple years off his life.
Oh man, dude! It's like Sakurai when they were announcing Smash 4, he looked like he still looked good. And the Nintendo Direct for this one, I was like, man, it looks like he's being drained. Like, I feel.
Well, now that he's basically done with the game, hopefully he could take a couple months off.
I know, dude.
Give him a couple days.
Just give that guy like 5 years severance and just let him live his life. And then, like, I don't, like, it's so weird, man. I'm in such a weird place with Smash Brothers, dude, because it's like, I love Smash Brothers, like, I do, but I always go back to that, like, sequel mentality, you know? It's like, if you would have given Sakurai, like, a different project, maybe he could have made something better, or, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to kill the hype for Smash Brothers or anything, but it's like, it's obviously taking a toll on this guy. I'm not even sure if he wants to do it anymore, you know, like, kind of thing. It's, but yeah, and then besides Ridley, they dropped in Daisy as kind of like a clone character of Peach.
They have a new terminology for them, and they're called echoes.
Echo characters. I was like,
so it's like Pit and Dark Pit.
Yeah. Lucina and more.
There you go.
I mean, they I think at one point, you could have used that term for like Captain Falcon and Ganondorf, or like Fox and Falco.
Ness and Lucas.
But I feel like they all differentiate themselves in like too.
Yeah,
especially
the clones of like Mario and Luigi. They made them different enough, but they do have a similar fighting style.
Oh man, fucking Ganondorf looks like Melee.
Oh yeah.
I was like, are you serious? Like, and one of his attacks uses like his sword, right? And then his final smash.
That sword. He's never used it actually in a game.
Right.
That sword comes from that teaser from the GameCube.
It's like an E3. What is it like? What are those called? Like
demo.
It's like a demo reel for like for GameCube or something.
Yeah, where it showed, look, this is what's possible on the GameCube.
Yeah.
And it's like that's where that sword comes from. I remember when we saw that, everybody was using it as that key art.
Yeah.
For that game.
And then Zelda also got a new look. And you know what's cool too?
She's from A Link Between Worlds, right?
Yeah. You know what's cool about that too?
Mm.
I'm not trying to
Here we go.
I'm not trying to be hardcore feminist or anything like that. I'm just saying, it's cool that they were like, hey, why does Zelda always have to be whatever the Link is? You know?
Yeah.
Let's get Zelda from like the game that she's most badass in. Mm-hmm. You know, which to me would be Spirit Tracks, but whatever. She's
dead in that one.
I know, she's badass, dude. You haven't finished that game, so just stop it.
I'm playing her in Hyrule Warriors, so F you.
Yeah. That's true. She's badass in Hyrule Warriors.
She is. She's dope in that one.
But A Link Between Worlds, I love that design. She's super cute. She has cool hair. Can't wait.
Super cool hair.
And also, Zelda is usually, arguably, like the worst character in Smash Brothers. A lot of the time.
Arguably, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because, like, in Melee, she's only really considered decent because she transforms into Sheik. Mm-hmm. And then in Smash 4, they split them up, and she went way lower in the tier list. So it's, I just thought that was pretty hilarious.
She looks like she's prominent in this one. Like, she does some real damage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the first part of the day. Obviously.
Wait, before we move on from Smash Brothers. We're gonna have like an E3 video that shows all this, but they had such a badass booth. So we were saying that Smash Brothers was like a celebration, or this one was like a celebration of the Smash Brothers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They had like real life props made. They like commissioned like, it sounds weird to say like regular people, but there was people on Twitter posting like, I helped out with this prop for Nintendo. So they didn't just go to some company to make these. They got real people, I guess, and said like, "Hey, help us out and make these props."
Yeah, because they had to make a lot of props,
and they look so good, dude. There was the Hogan's Alley can that Duck Hunt Dog uses. Mm-hmm. There was the golden hammer from Wrecking Crew.
They even had props that didn't belong to anybody. Like they had the sandbag.
Yeah,
from the minigame.
I mean, that's Smash.
They had the Master Sword.
Yeah.
They had all of Bayonetta's costume. They had the guns, the shoes, the shoe guns. They had the earrings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. They had it all commissioned.
They were all super good. It was just the Nintendo booth in general, dude, is just like uplifting. I was in good spirits the whole time I was there. Mm-hmm. And we got little Smash Brothers pins, little teeny tiny.
Oh yeah, if you played Smash Brothers, you got the Smash Brothers pin. And I was like, oh dang.
We were gonna get footage of us playing, but
we got so hyped,
dude. Like
we were so hyped to play.
As soon as I saw Ridley, I was like, fuck everything except Ridley. I just want to play this character.
Yeah, it was such a cool it was a great booth. Because it was so open.
Yeah.
You know, you could see, like, you could play Mario Aces. You could play the Mario and Pikachu Pokemon games they released.
Right.
And this. And the guy was telling us, if you do all three, you get, like, this cool thing at the end, like it's Passport. Uh-huh. But we were like, we got to go see other stuff. We can't spend our whole day at the Nintendo booth.
Yeah.
You know?
I played something else there. You were catching up with your friend.
Shout out to Josh.
You guys were talking, and I was like, I'm gonna go check out this game in the front called Ninjala. Mm-hmm. Okay, and the first
wasn't Ninjalo like it's a Jello?
Ninjala, that's what it's called.
Okay.
So the reason this game caught my attention, one, they're using Baby Metal as the band to like sell it or something.
Who's that?
Baby Metal is a popular Japanese metal band. And it's comprised mostly of women, but there's a dude in there somewhere or something like that. But they're pretty big right now. Mm-hmm. And they were using their music to like play over the trailer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy. Like, I mean, okay, sure. And then the art style as well is like super cute, like little ninja kids. Mm-hmm. It almost looks like Splatoon in a way, but like...
Yeah, but they use like baseball bats, and what you were telling me was like bubblegum and baseball bats.
Yeah, so the premise of this game, if I can just kind of paint a picture for you, they're little kids that kind of look like Splatoon kids, but they're ninjas. Mm-hmm. And the premise of the game is that they use bubblegum to form weapons. So you go around, and it's like a free-for-all. They called it a battle royale, which I was like, okay, whatever. Everyone's using that fucking term, I guess. But you hold the trigger down, you blow up a bubble. The bigger it is, the more the better weapon you can craft from it, because once the bubble's big, you press another button, she reaches into it and she pulls out a weapon.
I see.
And the only weapon available was like a bat. So everyone just had varying degrees of bats, right?
Gotcha.
But everyone had like a special ability. Some guy could teleport like a ninja. The character I was playing, she shot bubble gum and it wrapped around them and stuck them somewhere.
Okay.
And like they could like run on walls and stuff because they're ninjas. It's so cool. It was pretty fun. And it's Switch exclusive.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, dope. Like something else to play on Switch.
I was about to ask
down.
you what systems they're coming
Yeah, I
out
was like,
with.
I'm so down. And the other thing too was like, I went there and there was nobody playing it, and I was like, can I play this game? And the guy was just like,
please do.
yeah, dude. The guy was like, dude, hell yeah, you can play this game. And I was like, can I film it? He's like, film it, dude. We don't give a fuck. And he gave me like this inflatable bat that I had to carry that shit around all day.
It was a little oversized, I gotta say, but it was fun. And like their booth, and we'll have, like I said, we'll have a video footage of this booth. It was really nicely done. Looked very like downtown, like
it looked cool.
Like if anybody's ever played Jet Grind Radio,
well, that's why
Jet Set Radio. It looks like Toyoto or something like that.
That's why I said it looks like Splatoon, because it had like that kind of like, we're building like an urban place for these kids to hang out in. But
I came by and watched you play it, and I watched like the different people playing that thing, and it looked like a really fun game.
Yeah, it was cute too, because they had like a bubblegum machine there, and the bubblegum machine was filled with like little capsules. Capsules had little pins in them, so if you played in like their little like competitive mode on stage, which I did, I got like a little pin, and I don't know what the fuck it means, or I don't know what the symbol is, but I'm like, cool, just free swag, I guess. That's a pin. I don't mind pins. Pins I can just pin onto my fucking lanyard and I'm good.
I don't like buttons because we were at another booth.
Already played a game.
And we're gonna have film. We filmed this because why not?
Hold on.
But it was like it was at the what is it Seed Game? What was it?
Exceed Marvelous, yeah.
And we like a lot of their games, but there was this weird drumming game where it's like freestyle drumming. You just kind of have to keep a beat. But the thing is, like, there's this weird delay in between us and the TV.
Maybe it was just
and I was trying, like, I listen, I play Rock Band and I can keep a beat, right? But in this one, I kept, like, having to, like, wait for the delay to happen or whatever, and the game didn't really make sense to me. I was like, oh, that was fun, and then I saw it was, like, the complete failure of the thing, and I was like, he gave me this button for playing the game.
What do you mean the complete failure of this thing?
Like, at the end of the game, it was like, you complete, like, there was a meter that said how much noise you made or whatever, and it was a lot of noise. I was like, oh, great. And then when I gave him the thing and it was starting to walk away, it said failed. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I failed that stage or whatever.
Well, what was weird about it was it was a rhythm game, but it didn't have, like, an on-screen prompt for, like, when you were doing things correctly.
Because you're supposed to do certain beats to go with the beat.
You were just supposed to, like, memorize the fucking song or something, because there was...
No, you were supposed to hear it and feel when you were supposed to hit it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to hear that in a convention center. Whatever. I'm not trying to shit on this game. It was just funny because they gave Ernie... Ernie didn't like this game, first of all. They gave him a button that had the name of the game on it.
And I stabbed myself with it later on in the day because I reached in my pocket and, like, it had come out and I just, like... Dude, like, have you ever been stabbed underneath your nail? It hurts so much. And I was so pissed that I chucked it in the garbage. And I was like, no more buttons. Get these out of here.
Oh, that was so funny.
No offense to the game. It was fine. Like, we played a couple more of their games. What was that one we played?
They had a new Senran Kagura game there for PS4.
Yeah.
Which is always fun. I love anime girls getting naked. Why not? It's the best.
And, you know, I gotta say one thing, too. Like, because... We were in the same area. There was an Indiecade where they had, like, board games and stuff like that. That looked like fun. I'm glad that scene is kind of expanding.
What do you mean, the video game museum that they had?
No, Indiecade. So it's like a bunch of independent gaming companies.
Oh, I didn't see that. Where was that?
See, that's the thing. It's tucked away in the back behind the PlayStation area. But I was happy to see those things there, and there was a couple PC and like Intel was back there as well. But again, this is not really their showcase. But I think they come there to, like, show that, hey, there's also PC gaming. You know, we want to reach out to more, like, developers than the actual, you know, people. But even further back, I actually got some hands-on time with the projector, this like kickstarted projector for your Switch. It's like a dock, a projector, and whatever. Now
it costs like $1 million.
It costs like $300. I know, it's like buying another Switch. Now here's the thing, like really briefly, it looks super slick. Okay, it works very well. Mm-hmm. But like the demo they were showing me was so ratchet. Like they had the thing sitting on a table, mm-hmm. and like they had a white wall to show it on, but like they messed up because like the show's light, like you know how they have the ceiling lights that you can't control. Those were shining like right into their booth. And like I was like, this doesn't look that bright, and they're like, yeah, well, you know, it sucks because we're trying to mess with it so that it doesn't, you know, it looks a little brighter. But I was like, it looks pretty bright. And with the light on it, I could still see it. Mm-hmm. But the weird thing is, it was like askew, so the proportions weren't like straight on. So it was like, if you imagine the projector should show you like a rectangle, but it was more like a rhombus because it was like they tilted it or whatever. And they let me put my Switch in there to play, and I was playing Hyrule Warriors, and it ran just fine. I didn't notice really any lag or anything.
Where did the sound come out of?
It came out of the dock. And it was pretty clear. I could hear it in the convention center, and like I didn't hear the fan because I got real close and I was like, all I hear is the music. I don't really hear the fan, and so I was really impressed by it. The only thing is the resolution is not good because it's a projector. You know, it's kind of one of those things where he's like, if I'm outside and I want to do like a movie or something, that's cool because you know you're outside watching a movie. The resolution doesn't have to be great. And if I'm somewhere where I want to play like a huge Mario Party thing, maybe I'll use it. But I don't know about that. $300 is a lot to ask.
Why is it for the Switch? Well, whatever. Anyway,
it's just but you can use it for other things too. Like you could plug in your phone to it because it has HDMI.
Well,
USB,
supposedly like Nintendo. Maybe this was just like a rumor, but I heard that they listed YouTube, Netflix, and Hulu on some website like as you can download them or purchase them or something. So it got leaked somehow.
Oh.
That those are going to be on there soon. So I was expecting to hear it at E3, but I guess not. So after we did that, we were like, it was going to be open to the public soon. Mm-hmm. So we were like, we got to get to what we want to play before like everyone shows up, right?
Right. We skipped Spider-Man because we were right there next to PlayStation.
Yeah, I skipped.
But we skipped Spider-Man for two reasons. One, it's like, for one, it is essentially Arkham City with Spider-Man.
I'm not waiting in line to play Spider-Man, dude. I'm like,
and I feel like the demo clearly shows what this game is about. And I was like, you know what? I can wait for that to come out.
Last of Us Part 2, it's like, I fucking saw the trailer. I already played the game, right? So fuck off. And
well, that's kind of the thing. Like, it's a game I haven't played, but I kind of understood how it was going to be played, and it's going to be fun, and I'm hyped for it. But I'm like, okay, that's good. It's like, it's the same reason we didn't stand in line to play Fallout. We know what Fallout is.
No, okay, let me get to that real fast. I wanted to play Fallout, but because somebody said, oh, this line is for Fallout. What the long-ass line was for, was not for Fallout, so fuck that guy who told us that. It was for the Fallout experience.
Right.
Which apparently was like something where actors come in and they kind of play out the intro or something.
Right.
Because if you stand at the Bethesda booth, from the front you can see them doing this like through a glass thing.
Right, so to paint a picture, if you were to take the vault and cut it in half so you could see into it, that's what was happening. So the whole front was like this underground vault that you could see into, so you could see like 5 rooms. And in those 5 rooms, they were getting ready for a reclamation day, like in the trailer. And so they were giving everybody strength test, vision test, all that kind of thing. And they were dressed up as doctors with the little vault pins.
Dude, it was so cool.
Regular vault people were walking around playing at it, and then there were some people dressed up in the full vault suit with the Pip-Boy, and they were all playing their part, which was crazy because... Okay, so this little anecdote. We were walking around the front of it, and I was trying to film like some stuff.
You were trying to film like the floor of that's
because it said Bethesda, And then Steven sees this dude dressed up like a vault person, and he taps him on the shoulder and says, "Hey man, love your costume. That button is cool."
He was dressed like a vault dweller, so he had like 40s clothes on,
and he had slick hair.
He had slick hair, and he had a big ass gold button that had the vault symbol, the Vault Tech logo on it, which looked badass. And so I was just like, dude, amazing costume. You did a great job. And this guy is like in character.
Yeah.
And it was just like, costume? What are you talking about? And he's
He went, costume? What are you talking about, friend?
Yeah.
Hey man, make sure you talk to this gentleman. He aced his strength test.
Yeah.
Happy Reclamation Day, guys. And he walks away, and I was like, what the f...
Yeah. Yeah, so he was like playing the part of a Fallout. And then he started glitching. No, I'm just kidding. No, he was playing the part of a
vault dweller.
Yeah, and he was in character and shit. I don't even think he was supposed to be out there. I think he was just like on his lunch break.
Probably like he was on his way to like a thing, but they said keep in character all the way out.
Yeah, I was so glad that like we actually got to catch that, because that was my first clue as to like what the hell was going on in there or whatever. And we looked over there, and there was like a scientist guy who had all the bobbleheads too, like on his desk. And he was like, I guess the one that administers the test, the special test or whatever. I really wanted to do that, but the wait was way too long.
Actually, by the time... Okay, so there was... along with that, there was also like this little... If you've ever been to like Knott's Berry Farm or Disneyland, they have these little penny squisher things that you can make as a souvenir.
The flattened penny thing.
Flattened penny thing. So we got in line for that, and by the time we had gotten out of that... Because it was maybe a 10-minute, 15-minute wait for that.
It was pretty fast, yeah.
It was pretty fast. By the time we got done with that, I overheard a couple people saying, he's like, how do we do that? And it was like, well, you have to, first of all, you could get in line or you could get tickets, which is like you reserve your ticket. Yeah. And they were like, but we're all done for today, because I think it was like an hour or two before it was going to close. Uh-huh. So they're like, whoever's in line now that's it.
Oh, okay.
You know? So it was already done for the day, but it looked like a lot of fun to kind of become a vault dweller for a day.
We'll show off our little pennies that we squished to in our video. But it's just so cool, because like if Fallout does anything right, it's like that they stick to their theme. Mm-hmm. You know, they have their Vault Tech logo on everything. They really just they know how to pander to their audience. Basically, they know.
But you know what makes it really great is that so if you have Fallout stuff, right? Like, I have a Fallout shirt from Fallout 3, and it's just the Vault Tech, you know, the Vault Tech boy.
Yeah.
And he's just giving the thumbs up, and that's all that it is. So I can just wear that shirt whenever, because you'll be like, oh, Fallout 4. It was like, sure, it's Fallout 4.
Yeah,
that's all it is, because it's the same mascot for all these games.
And not just that, I know what you're saying, but not just that. It's like you could also wear that shirt, and it's believable that somebody in Fallout would wear that. You know, because in their own world, he's the mascot. It's not like he's just so. It works on a lot of different levels. Bethesda really knows who they're selling to with this stuff.
Right. Now, onto the other side. Because, okay, so we were in the South Hall for Nintendo, PlayStation. And by the way, PlayStation had a slew... Wait, hold on. I'll get to that. They had a slew of VR games, right? They had, like, the Star Trek one. They had a lot of different, like, these laser games and everything. Super awesome. I'm not sold on VR personally,
right?
But I know a lot of people are, and so like you could get tickets to that, and it was super streamlined. If we wanted to, we could have done the VR stuff. But
I don't want to throw up.
That's kind of it too. There's a little bit of motion sickness that goes with it. Now, so that was kind of what was in South Hall, along with a couple of things. Like there was a couple of other PC gaming places. There was a couple of hey, look, we make accessories for the Wii. Sorry, the Wii. The Switch, and that's where the projector was. Now, what we just talked about was in the main hall. Bethesda was right there in the main hall. There was some other booths that were like, wow, right? One of which was Ubisoft.
Okay.
Because not Ubisoft, I'm sorry. Ubisoft?
Yeah, Ubisoft was the big one in the center.
Yeah, but are they the ones that did the Tomb Raider thing? No, that was...
Tomb Raider was like its own thing.
Yeah, so Tomb Raider looked like
But Tomb Raider's made by Square Enix.
Square Enix, there we go. So Tomb Raider looked like a jungle... Like, they built like this giant jungle...
It looked like the
temple.
It looked like the Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah, it looked fantastic, and they had actors that looked like the Lara Croft.
Yeah,
and some of the other like I guess natives from there. I don't know.
I'm surprised people are so hyped for that. I didn't even know that game was that big of a deal. But apparently it's big enough to make the entire fucking booth about it, because it was like...
Yeah, because this is the third in the reboot, which is Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
And this is
Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And from the trailer, it looked like that you're going to have a whole BioShock good ending, bad ending kind of thing. So, I mean, I'm in, because those have been real fun. I've played a lot of them, so I'm totally in on that. But that booth looked amazing.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of it was Ubisoft, and Ubisoft just had a huge booth.
Ubisoft actually had a lot of people, which I was surprised.
Yeah, because they were having tournaments for all sorts of stuff, like Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
And then they had The Division.
I was only surprised because it was like, I was like, dude, it's been so long they're making the same fucking games. It's like they had an Assassin's Creed, they had a Just Dance, they had a Rainbow Six. Like, I was like, geez, like
they
really?
have a lot of stuff. Plus, they're still doing Just Dance.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Sorry, they did the Just Dance tournament.
Yeah.
Plus, I think I saw something like, I think they have an answer to Sea of Thieves, which is like Skull and Crossbones or something.
Oh yeah, that's right, Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. And plus, they had this Rome game, which I haven't gotten a chance to look at, but people were walking around with like with Roman headset.
That was Assassin's Creed
helmets.
Odyssey.
Oh, it was? Okay. So the thing I tweeted out about was like, finally I can play Assassin's Creed without pants on. So I guess it's like a gladiator thing, because they're like Spartans. But anyway, super impressive booth.
I wanted to play Mega Man, but when we got there, the wait was a little bit longer than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, fuck it, I don't care that much. I'll just play it when it comes out. We got to take a picture with Mega Man though. Well, the Capcom booth looked really nice. They were really selling the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah, I got
whole side of it, right, was like
Raccoon City.
Yeah, it was the Raccoon City Police Department. So I was like,
and you know what it was? I found out what it was after the fact. Like, the huge long line wasn't for a demo Resident Evil. It was for a haunted house inspired by the Raccoon City.
Oh, fuck that. I'm not doing
exactly.
that.
And then when you came out the other side, there was a place for you to take a picture inside a police car with a zombie in the back.
There was a place for you to take a dump if you didn't already have diapers on while you were in
And I have to say, this next booth that we're going to talk about, as much as you may hate or love it, it was probably the most impressive booth there, and it was a Fortnite booth.
Oh my God.
They brought in, first of all, they had like 3 tournaments going on at once, right? Okay. And they brought in the full party bus from Fortnite. It looked like the freaking party bus, and then the Fortnite logo that they had there was huge. Like, it was so huge.
It was ridiculously
huge big. And then on the other side of the booth, which, it was already pretty big, there was like 3 stations where you could take green screen pictures
of you dropping
in.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, they had the most like functional, impressive booth, and they had a main stage for their own stage.
They had props too, like if you got in the party bus.
It was the it was the foam pickaxe. Right?
Yeah, they had, well, not just those. They were giving those out. They had like a light up axe that you could hold for the pictures and stuff like that. I was like, who the fuck comes to E3 and plays Fortnite? Like, you just do that at home. It's a little bit strange, but whatever.
Well, now it's like they made the big announcement for Switch.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, look, all I have to say about that, at least they kept it free, right?
Yeah.
Like, I always expect to pay a little bit more on Switch for stuff. They actually ported Fortnite and said just keep it free. Mm-hmm. Like, I hope Paladins is free when they bring Paladins over to Switch, because I'm not paying for that shit. It's a free game, and I want it to be free. So
right. So aside from that, like I said, the Capcom booth, that they also had a video game museum, which I thought was cool.
It was cool.
Although I found that like I've seen a more I thought I saw another one like at Comic-Con or Anime Expo that looked a little better.
They were at Anime Expo at one point.
Yeah.
And they did have, I think they had more of a presence there.
Maybe.
They had like more machines or something. But it's E3, man. It's like they're probably stingy about how much space.
Yeah,
a lot. There was a big section in the middle that was also just like a Twitch lounge.
Yeah, they had a Twitch lounge, they had a Mixer lounge.
Yeah.
And they also had this area for, it was like helping to focus on women in gaming kind of thing.
All right.
And you know what else was a big surprise? Facebook gaming. Oh yeah. They had a moderately sized booth. with like this cool looking arcade.
It had like a
look.
fake ass arcade machine that said Facebook Gaming on it, and you could take a picture. With it.
And then the only other thing I remember seeing is like, so like at one point Steven was like, "Hey, where's the bathroom?" We went to the bathroom, and then like I was kind of leaning against that back wall where they have some of the smaller vendors, and I looked to the left, and there was literally all the swag from the year before was being sold by like this booth. It was just tons of cappies, tons of DK like ties, tons of that stuff. I was like, this is all the swag from last year, and I guess they just bought like they had the manufacturer just do a bunch more, and then they sold it because I saw more people with cappy. I was like, that's weird. I didn't think they were giving those out at the booth this year because they were at like GameStop and stuff.
Yeah, well, I think you forgot one thing. So after we did all that, I was fucking exhausted at that point. We had just eaten. We had a curry burger. We went to Microsoft's thing, which was outside the convention center. Microsoft's thing was actually free.
Yeah.
Any nobody could just walk in there.
I think you had to be 18 and over.
You had to be 18 and over. You had to get all your shit checked, like metal detector and stuff.
Yeah.
But the line was kind of a long wait for what we were going for. Like, if you're in a hardcore Xbox guy, I guess it's like you gotta go. You gotta go support your boys.
Because if you went for the games, they had all the ones that were demoed in E3. They had them there, like Division 2, anything that was Xbox like exclusive or not Xbox exclusive, but it was going to be one of their main releases.
They had like They had Ori. They had like Sea of Thieves, and I was like,
the new expansion.
I guess they had a new expansion. Okay,
so all the stuff that Microsoft announced that was going to be playable as a demo, they had out there.
Yeah, they had like PUBG and Rainbow Six or something like that.
Yeah.
But so we went and like Ernie wanted to go to like the store and stuff and buy.
Well, yeah, because I thought maybe because they announced Cuphead, they'd have something there.
I thought they would have Cuphead stuff. They didn't even have the fucking game up and running.
No.
For your boys, the Moldenhauers, where are they at? That's who I wanted to see. I was like, there was like some little glimmer of hope that I held on to. I was like, maybe we'll just run into Chad and Jared on the floor, and we'll just see them, and we'll just say like, hey, what's up, guys? And
we love you.
They'll just say, hey, you guys want to work on our game? And we'll be like, yeah, of course, dude.
Of course
Thank
we
you.
want to work on
Thank you.
game.
I'm so
you.
glad you offered. But that didn't happen, so I was a bit disappointed. Because it's funny though. Like I say that jokingly, but there wasn't one of the years I went, I saw Shigeru Miyamoto like just walk by the Nintendo booth.
And he offered you a job?
Yeah, he offered me a job, and now I work at Nintendo. No, it was funny because when he walked by, he had like somebody with him, like telling him like, hey, we gotta fucking go, and he was just like staring at this kid having fun. Playing a video game.
Of course he was, because that's Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah, he was just staring at some kid playing the Wii, and he was just like, "I've done good. I've done so much good." And I'm like, "Wow, dude, this fucking wholesome ass guy." That was pretty cool. So I was just like, "Oh, maybe we'll see some kind of developer that we like." Mm-hmm. I thought I saw the Rabbids guy, the guy that does Rabbids, but Ernie said no, that's just some guy with a beard.
I don't think it would, because first of all, he's walking his ass to the convention center.
Well, okay, he has a hoverboard or something?
No, but like most of the people, had a designated drop off for like press and everything and exhibitors.
He's a human being. He wants to walk around.
I'm just saying it's not very likely. He was. I would think if they need to get him somewhere, they would get him there fast.
Developers are vacuum sealed tight, shipped straight to the convention center in a tube.
But the Microsoft thing was kind of dull. But I will say though they did
let down. Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say they had a really nice press conference.
I was gonna say, like, in contrast to their press conference, because I think they had one of the strongest showings. Because it's like Nintendo Smash Bros. That has an effect on Smash players,
right?
But not people who don't necessarily care about that.
To add a little asterisk to that, they don't really use E3 to make their huge game announcements anymore.
That's true. They have their own Nintendo Direct stuff.
Yes, but PlayStation. I thought PlayStation had a good set of games that they did, but their presentation was odd.
Yeah, I just like. Okay, Death Stranding, you get another trailer for it. It's been like 6 years we get another fucking trailer for this game.
I'm in for that. That looks really interesting.
I'll be in when I fucking play it, dude. Like, I like Kojima. I love Kojima's games, but it's like, just let me play the game already, Last of Us 2, I don't give a shit about Last of Us 2. Spider-Man was like,
I'm in for Spider-Man. Totally in for Spider-Man. I know what it is, and I want to play that.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fun, but it seems like
it's Arkham City.
I'll play it at a friend's house. I'm not gonna go out looking for that one. I
told Steven I'm probably gonna buy a PlayStation for that game when it comes out.
For Spider-Man, that's so weird.
Well, I mean, I was already thinking of buying one because I want to finish God of War. Mm-hmm. But I might as well get one if I'm gonna play, Spider-Man. Yeah. Yeah. And by that point, they might drop the price on the Pro or whatever.
But I was gonna say Xbox showed off the most games at their press conference.
Yeah, and 80 titles, 15 exclusives, something like that. Like a crazy number.
They had a lot of exclusives. Even we were watching, and even Forza Horizon. I was like, this is not bad actually. I'm getting like Midnight Club 2 vibes where you just meet up with people and it's like, hey, meet at this certain location. We all go do a race together. Mm-hmm. The seasons are changing and all this shit.
Once the winter comes, you can drive on the ice. That kind of thing that's fun.
Yeah,
I like it.
I was like, whatever. You're showing games. That's what I want to see. And then they had that thing for Cyberpunk. Whatever, Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it looks interesting. Yeah. And it's done by a developer that did The Witcher.
Yeah, so CD Projekt Red.
In pretty good hands.
Yeah. I liked The Witcher 3. I would go as far as to say I love The Witcher 3 just because I love games where I can just do nothing productive for hours and just like Skyrim, dude. I fucking love Skyrim. But yeah, that was pretty much our E3 experience. I'm gonna rate this E3 10 stars.
10 stars out of how many?
Out of 5.
5.
I'm gonna give it 5 bags of popcorn.
The one thing that kind of sucked from the show is they upped the security like a ton. Everybody had to go through metal detectors.
Oh my god!
It's like bag checks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and I totally understand why, but it's so painful to do.
Man, we wanted to bring water bottles because we knew we were gonna be thirsty boys.
They're like,
there.
No liquids.
And he's like, you better just chug that shit right now. Ugh. No, and then it was okay. So we were going to one of the halls, the main where Nintendo was, right?
Yeah.
And the fucking security got all crazy on this crowd of people, which I was a part of, and they were like, whoa, back it up, cuz. And I was about to shit my pants because it was like this gigantic.
Because he had just let me go through.
It was this big buff dude. And I was like, dude, I am gonna whatever. I'm listening to what you say. All right, I'm not trying to.
Got my hands up.
I was like, dude, I was like, I want to be on the news. Like some guy gets trampled at E3. I was like, I just want to play video games, dude. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. But yeah, and then right after he saw my badge, he's like, "You're okay. You can go in. You can go in."
Yeah, because we had. But anyway, yeah. The only thing I really hear Steven made a good point, and I was like, man, I hate the security guards on these things because they're always they're
intense about their job, but they have
intense. To be. They have to be intense about their job because they have to treat. It's almost like they always have to treat everybody hostile.
Yeah.
So that everybody understands what's I'm in charge of this.
No, yeah,
so back up. Yeah. I get it. It just sucks that I always try to be as polite as possible.
And they still treat you
especially like shit. Especially with people that have a tough job. You don't want to make their jobs harder. Especially even the people working all these different booths. Some of them don't give one F about the video game or the thing that they're representing. All they were paid to do was be like, here's this game, here's my little paragraph about it, please enjoy.
Right.
And you're like, well, what about this really small technical detail? And they're like, I get it. So I try to be as nice as possible.
Yeah, when we were playing Smash Brothers, you asked the girl something, and she was like, I don't fucking know. She didn't say that.
I don't care.
Because it was a Nintendo booth, but she was just like, yeah. And you were like, it wasn't really a yes or no question. But okay, sure, why not?
She was sweet. She did her thing. She gave us our pins, and she was like, "Have a great rest of the." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Although we were there at the beginning of the day, so we got her 100%.
Yeah, that's true. I also played Spyro for 1 second.
Yeah, they even had a Crash Bandicoot esque comedian dude,
the 90s
circa
one?
1992 or something.
I gotta say, Spyro the Dragon looks okay to me right now. Mm-hmm. I like the way it looks, but right off the bat, I was like, all right, this isn't fucking. this isn't an amazing frame rate that we got here. It's got a lot of motion blur. The lighting is a little bit annoying. I'm nitpicking a demo. I'm sorry. The last thing, though, was like... It was like a 10-second demo.
Yeah.
I killed like 3 guys, and it was like, all right, you beat it. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I was like, okay, let me fly around a little bit, or like...
especially flight with Spyro. Like, it's the gliding thing. It's kind of his thing.
It's literally like kill 5 enemies and you're done or something, but whatever. I got some cool Spyro shades out of it, so that's cool.
Wow.
Why not?
Those shades, though.
Yeah.
So it was a great show.
Yeah,
it was a really great show.
That's pretty much wraps up our E3 coverage for the podcast. We're going to have a little video. We did an interview with the Bloody Gaming guys.
Yeah, real big shout out to Rajiv and his team. Yeah. If you haven't checked out their stuff, please do, because, like, we want that stuff. We were at the booth, and I was like, do you have any more of those? I'll totally get one, because they had a discount. If you're heading to E3, they have a discount on some of the stuff there, and I was like, please, they have like this left-handed keyboard that's with brown switches, and I'm like, I want that. He's like, dude, sold out.
Well, more specifically, it was a number pad on the left side of the keyboard.
Yeah.
And he was just saying like, oh, people seem to like overlook this, or it's been requested, and once we did it, a slew of people like jumped on it, and they were just like, yeah, it looks good, let's do it, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it. There's so much going on this week, I swear to God. It's like we have E3 this week. Incredibles 2 is coming out. Oh my God, I can't even handle this week.
He's really paid. Steven's getting paid this week.
Hey, whoa, people don't need to know these personal details. But yeah, so that does it for this week, guys. See you next week.
See you next week, guys.